Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Tadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Neelambujashya Malako Malangam Sita Samaropitavama Bhagam Parno Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvam Shanatham Atulita Baladhamam Hemashailabhadeham Danujavana Krishanum Jnaninamagraganyam Sakala Guna Nidhanam Vanaranamadhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Today we are beginning with Aranyakanda in the Ramcharitmanas. And this Aranyakanda is taking place in the forest. That's why it's called Aranyakanda. Very simple. And what's said is that there are 7 sopanas here, right? In the Ramcharitmanas. There are 7 sort of chapters. And also what is said in the Shastra is that there are 7 cities in Bharat, 7 cities in India, which can give moksha. Means if you go there, how often you hear about Kashi, right? That if somebody goes and takes the name of Bhagavan in Kashi and then they leave their body, that person attains moksha. I'm sure you've all heard that. So that way there are said to be 7 cities which give liberation, just like 7 sopanas in the Ramcharitmanas. So Balkand is said to be the city of Ayodhya. Ayodhya is one. Then Ayodhya Kand is the city of Mathura. And this Aranyakanda is the city Maya. So now Maya is nothing other than the city of Haridwar. So this Aranyakanda, it in itself is like a holy city. So this is what now we will be beginning. And what is this aranya? Right? What is the forest? So what is said is the forest is a place where people take refuge. You know how even now at home, sometimes people feel that everyone is just bothering me too much and I just need to escape my house. So let me go to the forest. So now nobody literally goes to the forest to stay, but you'll go somewhere in nature, right? You'll go somewhere quiet where no one else is around. You escape the hustle and bustle for some time. And then usually actually what happens is people come back. In terms of the stages of life, the 4 stages of life, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Vanaprastha is the stage of life when one goes to the forest. And from there is no return for that Vanaprastha. Means once you have left your home, then you stay in the forest. You don't go back. Because that's the place where you're taking refuge to do all sadhana and all practices that will bring you closer to the very goal of life. So here also in this Aranyakanda, there are so many teachings which are given. And this is to help the seeker to go through whatever it is that life throws at us, finally, ultimately, the thing which helps us to face whatever life brings to us is our knowledge, right? It's our understanding and our devotion. So this is what this Aranyakanda is bringing to us. It is bringing us this teaching, and it's also allowing us to see Bhagavan interacting with all the different people in the forest. And also what is said is this, as I said, this Aranyakanda is named for the city Maya, right, which is Haridwar. So also what is said is that you see the expression of Maya in so many different ways in the chapter. Maya is Bhagavan's Shakti, but Maya also can be seen in so many different ways. So this chapter is allowing us to have a glimpse into how that Maya expresses. So what we will do is, today we will see these Mangalacharanas. So you can see that there are 2 invocation shlokas. And the first one is for Bhagavan Shiva. So right at the beginning, in the first invocation verses, there was this Mangalacharana for Lord Shiva in the form of the Guru, right? This is how Bhagavan appears. So this is who this first Mangalacharana is addressed to. So we'll read that, the first one, verse number 1. And we'll do lead and follow, and then we'll chant it together. Okay. Moolam dharmataror viveka jaladhehe. Moolam dharmataror viveka jaladhehe. Purnendumanandadam. Purnendumanandadam. Vairagyambuja bhaskaram hyaghana. Vairagyambuja bhaskaram hyaghana. Dhantapaham tapaham. Dhantapaham tapaham. Mohambodhara puga patana vidho. Mohambodhara puga patana vidho. Svasambhavam shankaram. Svasambhavam shankaram. Vande brahmakulam kalankashamanam. Vande brahmakulam kalankashamanam. Śrī Rāma bhupa priyam. Śrī Rāma bhupa priyam. Okay. So the main sentence here is Shankaram Vande. I revere, I worship Shankaram, means Lord Shiva. And the rest of the verse is a description of who is Bhagavan Shiva, as most beautiful shloka that Tulasi has written. So first, Bhagavan Shiva is Dharmataroho Moolam. He is the root of the tree of Dharma. Means Bhagavan is the source of Dharma. Okay? Dharma comes from Bhagavan. Dharma is rooted in Bhagavan. So he is, if Dharma is pictured as a tree, then Bhagavan is its root. Means if somebody is to worship Bhagavan Shiva, then what will they gain? They will gain the essence of Dharma itself. They will come to know what is Dharma completely. And also in our life, Dharma is what comes first, right? For the majority of us, before we start seeking something higher, before we even look into the scriptures that reveal knowledge, before that, the first thing that is important is that we are able to practice our dharma and we are able to know what dharma is. So this is the first thing that is mentioned here. Means first I should know how to be a good person, how to fulfill my responsibility, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. This is first thing that is required. And this is Bhagavan, Shiva. So he is the root of this tree of dharma. Then, Viveka Jaladhehe Purnendum. Purnendum means he is the full moon. Another name for the moon is Indu. So full moon is called Purnendum. He is the full moon with reference to the ocean of Viveka. So now what does the moon have to do with the ocean? So when the full moon is there, then this is when the ocean sort of grows, right, in size. Means the moon is what affects the tides that you see in the ocean. And when you have a full moon, then that ocean also grows. So Bhagavan is the one who will make sure that our viveka grows. Now, what kind of viveka? Viveka means discrimination, right? Discernment. The ability to discern between different things which might actually appear very similar. And for somebody who studies Vedanta, then you have all your Nitya Anitya Viveka, right? To tell the difference between what is eternal, what is ephemeral, what is real and what is unreal. But also what was said earlier, that he is the root of dharma, means our viveka to do with dharma also can grow, right? Because for dharma, we need to know what's right and what's wrong. So we need that viveka there also. How do we grow our viveka? How do we make it sharp and how do we make it clear? So Bhagavan Shiva, as the Guru, makes sure that our viveka grows. So this is also sometimes people feel that, in bhakti, it just means that it's something to do with your emotion. When you have bhakti, it just means that you're cultivating positive emotion, etc. But the effect of bhakti is our viveka grows, and as we'll see, our vairagya also grows. This doesn't just happen when you are an intellectual person and doing your sadhana, etc. This is the result of bhakti. This is what we had seen in the very last Soratha of Ayodhyakan, right? That bhakti means going towards Bhagavan, but equally to be able to withdraw from the world. So Bhagavan Shiva, his presence means when we keep him in our mind, when we think of Bhagavan, when we worship him, when we do that upasana of Bhagavan Shiva, then our viveka, our discrimination, it grows. It becomes more powerful, it becomes stronger. Not only that, but Bhagavan is Anandadam. He is the giver of joy, of bliss. Unlike this world, in which everything is inert and everything is finite, everything is limited, right? Everything in this world comes to an end. So now if everything in the world is finite, how much joy can it give us? One is it can only give joy as long as it lasts itself. But if the nature of things in the world is that they are inert, then how can they give happiness? That which is of the nature of happiness, that can give happiness, right? If somebody is their character is that they're always feeling sad or they're always feeling angry or grumpy, that person will not have any ability to make the people around them happy, right? In fact, they'll only make the people around them more grumpy. But if one person themselves is always happy, is always pleasant, is always cheerful, then that person can bring cheer and happiness to the people around them. Bhagavan is of the nature of bliss. So of course, anyone who thinks of Bhagavan, anyone who brings Bhagavan into their heart, that person will certainly gain this bliss. There is no sorrow in Bhagavan. Means thinking of Bhagavan, we will gain only joy. Then who else? I mean, how else is Bhagavan described? So he says, Vairagyambuja Bhaskaram. Bhagavan is the, Lord Shiva is the sun for the lotus of dispassion. So the lotus opens when there is sunlight, right? And in the night, the lotus closes up. So even though Bhagavan is the full moon for Viveka, for the flower or the lotus of Vairagya, he becomes the sun. Means Bhagavan is everything at once, right? He is the moon, he is the sun, he is this entire creation. But metaphorically, for the lotus of dispassion, he is the sun. In other words, Bhagavan is who will allow or who will grow our dispassion, our Vairagya. If we want Vairagya from the things that give us sorrow in this world, then who should we go to? We should go to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva in particularly he's like the embodiment of dispassion, right? Even in that freezing cold Kailash, he sits with only one tiger skin and with some bhasma on his body. Means he has perfect dispassion. So thinking of him, our dispassion also grows. If you think about how do we become dispassionate to things in this world, right? Say, for example, you become attached to watching a particular TV show. Okay? So you like to watch this particular TV show. Then how do you become dispassionate from that? You have to find something better so that you can leave that first one behind. Okay? Otherwise, you'll stay stuck with that first one. So when you find something better, you'll say, actually, I prefer to watch this second one. That first one was good, but now that I've seen this one is much better. So in this world, we have attachment to so many things. How do we pull our mind away from those things? We first have to have something else to hold on to. And once we hold on to that something else, then it becomes very easy to pull our mind away from that first thing. Very simple example, when you're walking, right? Once you have placed your front foot on the ground, then you lift your back foot off the ground. Correct? When we walk, we don't jump. We don't lift both feet from the ground at the same time. Then walking would be so difficult. First, we put one foot down, then we lift the other foot up. So once we have something to stand on, then it's easy to lift the other foot and for it to be in the air, right? The same way, when our mind has something beautiful and something which gives joy to hold on to, and Bhagavan is the source of joy, so holding on to him, our mind will be filled with joy, then we can let go of all our other lower attachments. So automatically, by directing our mind to him, by developing love for him, our dispassion grows, like this lotus. Then Bhagavan is also here, he means indeed agha. Agha means sin. Agha ghana dhvanta apaham. He is the remover of this thick darkness of papa, means of negativity. What happens when we have so much negativity in our mind, when we have a lot of papa, when we've done a lot of wrong? What is the effect in our mind? The effect is there is darkness. We become ignorant, more ignorant than we already are. This is what happens, right? If we keep doing wrong, then we lose our viveka, we lose our ability to think clearly. So Bhagavan is the one who can destroy the darkness of agha, means of papa. Bhagavan is the karma phaladata, right? He is the one who is distributing, who is giving us the result of our action. So how will he destroy the darkness of papa? He doesn't just clean everyone's balance sheet just when he feels like it. This person is doing puja for me every day, so let me get rid of all his papa. But the more we bring ourselves close to Bhagavan, that papa gets overpowered by the punya that we do. Right? The more punya we do, the less effect that papa has on our mind. Means we won't suffer so much because of it, because we have encouraged and cultivated so much positivity in our mind that those past wrongdoings, etc., they can't affect us. And really speaking, when we go through suffering and difficulties in life, really it's Bhagavan's grace which makes sure that our minds aren't so overwhelmed that we can actually just get through that sorrow. Bhagavan's grace allows our mind to remain strong at that time and to get through to the other side of that experience. So he destroys this darkness. Then he is tapaham. He destroys, in fact, Tulasidas says he destroys all suffering, all afflictions, all tapa. Tapa means suffering. So he destroys all affliction. Means any suffering. Remember, this is true for the devotee. For somebody who has no relationship with Lord Shiva, he can still do these things, but they will not see this in their life. Whereas someone who has bhakti, they will see that, yes, Bhagavan has allowed my viveka to grow. Bhagavan has increased my vairagya. Bhagavan has removed all suffering from my life. The devotee is the one who will see that. So he is tapaham. Then he is swasambhavam. So now this swasambhavam means that which is born from space. Swaha means here in this verse, swaha means space. And sambhavam means that which is born. So born from space. In the order of creation, first there is space, and then from space you have vayu, air. Then from air, fire comes, then from fire, water, and from water, earth. So Bhagavan is like the wind, he is the air. Moham bodhara puga partanavidho. He is the wind who will dispel the great, the thick clouds of delusion. When there are thick clouds in the sky, And sometimes you look and the sky is just filled with clouds, completely gray. And usually what happens is they will stay that way, right? And skies will take a really long time to clear. But on a windy day, if you look, when the sky is full of clouds, you can look 10 minutes later and you will see blue skies. Right? The wind just moves them so quickly sometimes. You wonder, did I imagine that it was raining so much or these clouds were actually there? They disappear so quickly. So Bhagavan Shiva is like the wind which dispels these clouds of moha, of delusion. And he is very good at that. Patanavidho, he is the one who can dispose of them very quickly. And we have so much moha, right? We have moha about this world. We think, I can get happiness from this world. We have moha about ourselves. We are deluded about Bhagavan also. That will come later as well. Bhagavan is the one who can remove all that delusion. He is Shankaram. Shankaram means the one who brings all auspiciousness. And he is Brahmakulam. He is Brahmakula means in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of how Lord Shiva comes from Brahmaji. But Brahmakula means he's part of that group, right? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, you always have these three together. So they're like in a group together. He is one of the three. Brahmakulam. Also, it means he is of the nature of that supreme truth. Brahmakulam. He is Kalanka Shamanam. He is the one who will quiet and remove all negativities. And Śrī Rāma Bhupa Priyam. He is very dear to Bhagavan Śrī Rāma. Means there is no conflict or enmity or competition between Lord Shiva and Śrī Rāma. They both love each other so much. And actually what I said, and you see this also, if somebody is a devotee of Śrī Rāma, that person will start to love Lord Shiva. And if somebody is a devotee of Lord Shiva, that person will love Rama because Lord Shiva himself is a devotee of Śrī Rāma. Right? And Śrī Rāma, Bhagavan is happy when everybody loves Lord Shiva because he also loves him. So there is great mutual love and admiration between them. Śrī Rāma Bhupa Priyam. Okay, so we'll read the verse once more together. Moolam dharmataror viveka jaladhe purnendumanandadam vairagyambuja bhaskaram hyaghagana dhvantapaham tapaham moham bhodhara puga patana vidhau vasambhavam shankaram vande brahmakulam kalanka shamanam Śrī Rāma bhupa priyam. So we bow down to Lord Shiva and always the Guru Namaskara comes first. So Bhagavan Shiva is Guru, we bow down. Now the next verse is for Bhagavan Rama. Okay. So again we'll chant, lead and follow. Sandrananda payodaso bhagatanum Sandrananda payodaso bhagatanum Pitambaram sundaram Pitambaram sundaram Parno bana sharasanam Katila sat Parno Barna Sharasanam Katilasat Turnira Bharam Varam Turnira Bharam Varam Rajivayatalocanam Dhritajata Rajivayatalocanam Dhritajata Jutena Samshobhitam Jutena Samshobhitam Sita Lakshmana Sanyutam Pathigatam Sita Lakshmana Sanyutam Pathigatam Ramabhiramam Bhaje Ramabhiramam Bhaje. So here the main thing is Bhaje, I worship. I worship Rama. And who is Rama? So he is described in the rest of the shloka. Sandra Nanda Payoda Sobhagatanum, who has this beautiful body. Tanum means his form, which is Sobhaga. It's extremely beautiful. How is it? It is like these, or it has the color of the thick, dark clouds which bear water and which give great joy. So, you know, sometimes you see clouds which are a bit wispy and very white. And those clouds, generally, when you see, you don't get rain. You get rain when you have those thick, dark, gray clouds. Okay? And because they give rain, they bring great joy. This is how Bhagavan is. Means he's very dark in color. And very beautiful. He is wearing this pitambaram, means he is wearing yellow clothes. Now Bhagavan in Aranya, in the forest, he is not wearing his usual yellow, means all those very beautiful clothes of the palace, right? We've already seen that now he is wearing that Valkal Vastra, made of tree bark. It was described in Ayodhya, right? How he gave up his clothes and he started wearing this forest clothing. So that also has this yellowish kind of color. So he is Pitambaram and Sundaram. He is so beautiful, so handsome. Means for Bhagavan, it doesn't matter what he's wearing, he will always be beautiful, right? He doesn't need to be wearing his silks and his fancy clothes. He's still Sundaram. In his hand, Parno, Barna Shara Asanam, or Asana. He has this bow and arrow in his hand. And Kartilasat, he is on his waist, he has this shining Turnira Bharam. He is wearing this quiver. So this is a thing in which the arrows are carried. Okay? So now here in our mandir, you can see Bhagavan with this, he's got this quiver on his back, this with all the arrows, and it's fastened around his chest. Here it's on his chest, but Tulasidasa says it's tied around his waist. And he is Varam. Bhagavan is Vara, means he is the best. He is the greatest. Varam means Shreshtham. And this quiver for his arrows is very beautiful. It's shining. Now Bhagavan himself, how does his face look? So he says, Raji Vayata Lochanam. Bhagavan has these big eyes, which are like which are like lotuses. Not like the actual lotus, but like lotus petal, right? The implication. How beautifully those lotus petals are shaped. Bhagavan's eyes are like that, and they're big. Means not like scarily big, but big in a beautiful way. Nice big eye to see. Then Dhrita Jata Jutena Samshobhitam. He is sort of shining, he is very beautiful with this Jata Juta. Means he has that matted hair and all of it is piled on top of his head. Even with that matted hair, he is so beautiful. And Sita Lakshmana Sanyutam, together with Sita and Lakshmana, Pathigatam, he is walking on this path. Means now in Aranyakanda, he is traveling, right? He is journeying. And what's said is actually Tulasidas loves Bhagavan Rama in this form. Not as Prince of Ayodhya, as king. Of course, he loves Bhagavan in that form as well. But his favorite is this Pathigatam Ramam. Because as Bhagavan is traveling through the forest, he is available to everyone. Right? If he's in the palace, then you have to make an appointment and maybe you will get to see him, maybe not. Whereas when he's in the forest, everybody gets to see Bhagavan, everybody gets to come close to him and meet him and speak with him. So he is most adorable in this particular form. Ramabhiramam bhaji. I worship this Rama who is the one who gives joy to everyone. Ramabhirama means he is the most delightful, the most joy-giving. He himself is of the nature of bliss. So Bhagavan gives great joy to everyone. So we worship that Rama. So we'll read the shloka again together. Tandrananda payodaso bhagatanum Pitambaram sundaram Parno Bana Sharasanam Katilasat Tunirabharam Varam Rajivayatalocanam Dhritajata Jutena Samshobhitam Sita Lakshmana Sanyutam Pathigatam Ramabhiramam bhaje. So we'll also now just read the Sorartha before the Chopai start. So it comes immediately after the shloka. Umarama Gunagudha Pandita Muni Pavahi Birati Pavahi Mohan Vimudha Je Hari Bimukhana Dharmarati. Now Bhagavan Shiva himself is speaking to Uma, means to Parvati ji. Because you remember there are 4 conversations going on, right? In which this Ramayana is told. So in one conversation, Bhagavan Shiva is telling the Ramayana to Parvati ji. In one, this you have Yajnavalkya and Bharadvaj Muni. In the third, you have Kakabhushundi and Garuda. And the fourth is Tulasidas telling the Ramayana to his own mind. So Bhagavan Shiva is speaking to Parvati ji and he says, hey Uma, Rama Guna Good. Shri Rama's gunas means his virtues, his attributes. They are good, means they are not easily known. They are almost like secret, hidden away. Meaning, this story is not very straightforward. Not everyone will read it and immediately understand what Bhagavan is doing or why he's doing what he's doing. And we'll see this immediately as the chopais start, as the kanda starts, you'll see this. So he says, because it's not easy to understand what happens, Pandita Muni Pavahi Birati. When the Panditas, means the sages and learned people, when they hear Bhagavan's story, what happens for them? Pavahi Birati. They attain dispassion. Means because their minds are pure and they already understand, when they hear Bhagavan's story, they gain greater dispassion. In other words, such good is done. But Pavahi moha vimudha je hari vimukha na dharmarati. Those who are turned away from Bhagavan, je hari vimukha, means who have no inclination to know Bhagavan and to worship Bhagavan. Those who na dharmarati, those who are not interested in dharma and who don't take any joy from performing dharma. Pavahi moda vimud, those foolish people, they will get even more deluded when they hear Bhagavan's story. They will get even more confused that, what is Bhagavan doing? Why is he doing this? They are unable to understand what is meant and why Bhagavan is doing whatever he does as he travels through the forest. So now the story begins of all the things that, various things that happen in the forest. And another thing which is said, in the forest, you don't generally have just straight roads which take you where you want to go. Okay? You have to find your way. Sometimes you have to push some bushes aside. Sometimes you have to duck under some trees. Sometimes you have to go over some trees. So the paths are all like here and there. Some are short, some are long. So in the same way in this Aranyakanda, sometimes you will have, like we were seeing in Ayodhya Kanda, generally there were 4 chopais and then a doha. Okay? Here, sometimes you will have 4 chopais and then a doha. Sometimes you will have like 10, 15 chopais and then you'll have a doha. Means there is great variation even within the text itself, because we're in the forest and the forest isn't always just straight roads and easy going. There is some variation. So that's reflected here by Tulasidasa in the way that he's written as well. Okay. So we will start with the chopais next time. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Siyavara Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Umapati Mahadeva ki jai, Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.